Good evening, everyone. We'll just wait for 5 minutes for the webinar to start. We are waiting for some people to join. Pankaj, should we start or is there anybody else in the waiting room?
We can start, Saurabh.
Okay. Uh, Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar today. My name is Saurabh Taluja. I'm the admissions head with Hayden Reynott, and I have with me Mr. Varun, who is from St. George's University. So Hayden Reynott, we are the official study abroad partners with multiple schools, and as a program, we are offering a study abroad program with a lot of schools wherein we have integrated the rigor of Indian curriculum with the application process and the exams required to approach the top university. Additionally, as a company, Hayden and Reynott is offering extensive profile building efforts wherein we are able to target the top universities based on the aspirations of the students. In the past, we have done webinars related to profile building, related to pre-application process, but with a lot of fluctuation in the NEET examination dates, we see students showing interest in abroad education or the MBBS abroad, which is why we planned this webinar today. Just to brief you up on the flow of the webinar, you will all be muted during the session, and in case you have any questions, you can put it in the Q&A section. Also, after the webinar, we'll be unmuting each and every person based on the once they raise their hand, and we'll be answering to your questions individually. So let's begin with the webinar. So the current webinar is related to medicine or MBBS program abroad. So what we are going to be covering in the webinar would be the MBBS program in UK or Europe, MBBS program in Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, MBBS program in US, Canada, Australia. What are the application processes to apply to the above destinations? What are the exams required to be given to approach the above destinations? Yes, there are some countries offering post-study work visa or a stay back. So we'll also be giving you information regarding the same and the overall application process along with scholarships. So we'll start with UK as a destination. So UK has an MBBS program which is similar to what we offer in India. It's a 5-year MBBS program, which is on the same lines as that of India. So when you do a 5-year MBBS, you need to give certain entrance exam, which is UCAT or BMAT. UCAT is accepted by 30 universities in UK, whereas BMAT is also accepted by universities in UK, plus it's also accepted by universities in other countries. Now, when we are applying for a medicine program in UK, it's not just the entrance exam. There are percentage requirements also that we have to fulfill apart from the entrance exam. So you need to fulfill certain percentage barriers for each of the university, which starts from as low as 80% and goes to as high as 95%. If you're looking at universities like Oxford or Cambridge, it can go up to 95% in the respective majors with 90% overall. So the expectations in terms of percentage is very, very high when we are talking about an MBBS program in UK. In terms of the application deadlines for this particular program, they come first in order. So the students who are currently in grade 12 looking for an MBBS program, they can be looking at applying by 15th of October. And students who have completed grade 12 and are looking at MBBS program, they can give UCAT or BMAT exam this year and can apply for an MBBS program starting next year, which is fall 2021. On the screen, you can see some of the universities which I have listed, which are accepting UCAT and BMAT. So under the UCAT, you would only see UK universities, which is University of Aberdeen, Anglia Ruskin, Aston, University of Birmingham, Bristol, King's College London. So all these universities are accepting UCAT. So if any of you is interested in applying for an MBBS program in UK, you need to appear for this particular test and ensure that you put the application by 15th of October 2020 if you want to join the university by September 2021. When it comes to BMAT, so the universities which are under BMAT are not under UCAT. So there won't be a university which will accept both. So a university would be either accepting UCAT or BMAT, which is why it is very, very essential that before you plan the entrance exam, it is very important to first plan the university. So what we do is, as a company which is helping the students with the process, we first give you the understanding of the programs. We give you the understanding of the colleges across different places, which are different, like which have high research angle. What is the advantages of applying to a different university? And then accordingly, we recommend whether you should give UCAT or BMAT. In case you're looking at UK plus other countries, which is Singapore, Hong Kong, and Europe, then BMAT is the recommended exam. Whereas if you're looking at only UK, then UCAT will be the preferred exam. In terms of the structure of the program, it's same as India. So you have to do, in case you're looking at an MD program, then there is an additional exam, which is PLAB, which you have to appear for after MBBS program. Considering this is a program which has a high research, it doesn't have a direct stay back or a post-work opportunity, but being a program which is greatly in demand, most of the students who are doing MBBS program are given preference in terms of stay back in UK. With respect to the countries like Ukraine, Russia, Belarus, and Georgia, so on the screen you could see some of the colleges like Pirogov, St. Petersburg. We have Tbilisi Medical Academy. We have Kharkiv. So why we are talking about these particular universities? Because there are students which are having a very, very high financial background in terms of putting an application. So when we are looking at a UK university, your cost of education would go anywhere close to 1 to 1.25 crores. Whereas when we are looking at MBBS in any of these destinations, your overall cost maximum is 40 lakh rupees for the entire program, including living accommodation, tuition fee. The reason why we are bringing these universities in your notice is because all these colleges are MCI approved, which is Medical Council of India. So when we are putting an application to any MBBS program abroad, we definitely ensure that the university should be Medical Council of India approved, so that when you come back to India, you want to sit for the MCI exam, practice in India, you are allowed to do so. And we have students or doctors who are already back in India, working in India after studying from Russia or Ukraine or Belarus. The only thing that you have to really see is that when we are selecting universities in these particular region, we are generally sending the students to the university where we have a good success rate. You will see a list of about 500 universities on the MCI website, but when we are recommending a college, not every university is something that we are asking the student to take up. It's only the universities where the students have gone in the past and have achieved a certain level of success rate is what we are recommending. Particularly with this university, the tuition range is in the range of 5 to 6 lakhs per annum. NEET score is not an entry criteria, but it is a qualifying criteria. So there is no minimum need score which is required by these universities for admissions process. But it is very, very essential that you give NEET so that when you come back to India, you appear for the MCI exam, you are allowed to sit for the exam. So it's very essential that you give the NEET exam and you are a NEET qualified student. There is no minimum benchmark with respect to the score that we are expecting. The good advantage with all these colleges is that they do offer MCI exam preparation at their campus. So when you go to these countries and study the medicine program, the universities are giving support in terms of the Medical Council of India. So MCI level 1, level 2, level 3 exam, which you have to give it in India to practice as a MBBS doctor in India. So you need to appear for this exam and pass this exam before you are allowed to practice. So when you're going to any of these destinations, you are given the assistance to prepare for this exam, and an average clearance rate of 70% is what these universities have achieved in terms of clearing the MCI exam. Please ensure that your passports are in place, because students who are looking at going this year for their MBBS program, they need to ensure that their passport should have a 6 months to 1 year validity. The intake for all these universities is open for this year, September 2020. So you can join these universities in this intake itself. Some of the universities I'm mentioning on the screen. So with Russia, we are particularly focusing on the good top universities, which are also falling under the QS rank, which is Moscow State Medical University, Pirogov, and St. Petersburg University. With Ukraine, we are looking at Sumy State University and Kharkiv Polytechnical University. Particularly with Belarus, we are looking at International University Mitso and Gomel State. And with Georgia, we are talking about Tbilisi State Medical University. The difference in terms of the course structure when we are talking about a general medicine in these countries, that they have two options to approach this program. One option is that if you intend to stay in any of these countries after completing your medicine degree, then it is very, very essential that you take a 1 year preparatory course and then do your medicine program in their native language, because this will help you during your clinical rotations, as well as it will also help you in your further staybacks in those countries. Although in all these destinations, the general medicine program is offered in English language. So if you are taking a program in English language, you would be still given a preparation of a Russian language or the native language of whichever country you are going to as a part of the program, so that you are able to do your clinical rotations, you are able to work in those countries while you are studying there as a part-time job also. So you have given a 1 year preparatory course along with a general medicine course which is taught in English language. In case you wish to have anything related to medicine business degree after completing your general medicine, you are allowed to do so. But there is no option of continuing to an MD degree in these countries, because their MD degree is yet to get any kind of approval from MCI. MD of UK is still recognized, MD of US is recognized, but MD of all these countries is not recognized, only MBBS is recognized. So after doing an MBBS, you can take a transfer to any of the other English countries, or you can come back to India and give your MCI exam and continue your practice in India. The only difference between Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and Georgia is that with Georgia, you can also take a transfer in the second year or the third year onwards. So in case you are studying in any destination, be it China or India, and if you wish to take a transfer in the second or the third year, we have also sent students to Georgia in the second year or the third year of their MBBS program, so they can continue their degree over there from second or third year onwards. Just to give you a little background about the students who are present in Russia, so there, as per the stats, there are 14,000 Indians which are currently studying in Russia. The big advantage for the Indian students applying to Russian universities, they don't have to get their documents legalized, which was earlier the case with the Indian students. They had to get their documents legalized, but now you just need to get your documents translated and send it to the universities, wherein we are also helping you with that particular process. And the advantage of going to Ukraine as a destination is it's falling under the Schengen area. They do have a system wherein you can apply for a citizenship after you complete your MBBS, which can give you an access to all the Schengen countries, and you can give the licensing exam of any of the other countries in Europe and continue to practice your medicine in that country. Additionally, with respect to Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and Georgia, all these countries have universities which are also partnered with other European universities. So in case you wish to take a transfer to any of the university, you have that option available. With respect to Belarus and Georgia, Belarus as a country, it's a good country to do an MBBS program. It does give you an option of having an internship opportunity after, while you are doing your program, and there is a high chance of a permanent residence and a settlement in Europe because the country is actually favoring that. Out of the four countries, we put like out of the four countries which the students should approach for an MBBS program, we rate Russia on the first rank, then Belarus, then Georgia, and then Ukraine as in the order of preference. In case you are looking at any of the medical licensing examination preparations such as PLAB, USMLE, MCI, or anything, assistance is offered for the same. From our side, why to study in any of these countries? So all these countries are accepting the European, are falling under the European diploma system. So they are, because they have a association with the EU system. So there you get a ECTS degree which is accepted across Europe. All these universities have a dual diploma partnership with other universities in Europe. So in case you wish to take a transfer, you have that option. But there are very limited universities which are mentioned on the website of each and every university. The tuition fees is supposed to be very, very affordable. So we have universities which are as costing as low as $3,000. The cost of living is very, very effective. The admission process is very easy. You don't need to give any IELTS exam. You just need to put your documents and you are through to the admission process, and the programs are offered in English medium. Their degrees are recognized all over the world. And the reason why these universities are costing you so less is not because their quality of education is bad, but because they are all government funded colleges also. So a lot of these universities are heavily funded by the government and they are public universities, which is why their cost of education is very, very low. Just to give you a fair idea on the overall cost, so there are economical range of universities which are falling in the range of $2,900 to $4,900 tuition fee. Then there are the universities which are falling in the range of $5,000 to $7,900. And then there are some universities which are falling in the range of $8,000 to $10,000. The cost of these universities is not directly linked to their rank, but yes, given the fact that when we are looking at countries, different countries and different universities, we try to give you an outlook as to what kind of facilities these universities are offering you in their respective destinations. In terms of your overall fee structure, while you are putting an application, we look for there are certain charges that the student has to bear. There's a registration fee that the student has to pay. There's the admission fee which a student pays after getting the offer. For the airport pickup facilities, we do give support and assistance. There's a separate tuition fee that the student has to pay. There's a hostel fee, insurance fee, and a mandatory medical checkup. And there is a service cost which is attached to all the support services which is given to the student to ensure that the student gets a smooth transition to the above destination. Just to give you a fair idea on the cost structure, so in Russia you have Crimean Federal University which is costing in the range of $3,000 to $5,000. You have a Gomel State University. So I've stated all these universities in the previous slide. So in Belarus you have Gomel State which is costing you $3,000 to $5,000 per annum in the form of tuition. You have Sumy State again in the same range. Then the university in Georgia would cost you somewhere around $5,000 to $7,000. Then the university in Russia would cost you somewhere around $5,000 to $7,000, which is Perovo, which is based out of Moscow. And then your main Moscow State Medical University, which is $8,000 to $10,000 of tuition fee per annum. All these countries have their native language as non-English. But if you're looking at English countries like UK, USA, then you should be prepared to go above to $15,000 to $20,000 in terms of your tuition, and beyond that you have to put yourself on the living in terms of all the English countries that we are looking at. Just to give you an overview in terms of dormitory, we don't say they are very, very high-end accommodations, but they are respectably good accommodations which are available to you at a very economical cost in the range of USD $10 to USD $300 per month that the university is offering. So they are definitely not as premium as what US is offering, but yes, they are giving good accommodations where students are able to get some good facilities in terms of living, accommodation, and food. Why we have separated US, Canada, Australia with respect to other countries? Because US, Canada, Australia has a completely different structure with respect to their program offering. Your UK has a 5-year MBBS program. Your Russia, Ukraine, Belarus has again got a 5 to 6 year MBBS program. Whereas when we talk about US, Canada, they follow a separate structure in terms of 10 to 11-year duration program, which is called as an MD program. But the terminology difference is there that the MD program in US, Canada is equivalent to a MBBS of India. So it's technically not an MD program. It's the same as an MBBS program. Now, when we talk about any of the above destinations, as an international student or as a domestic student, we are not allowed to take a direct medicine program. You have to take a pre-medicine track, which is to be taken up along with your bachelor's degree, which as a part of an application to the pre-medicine program with a bachelor's degree, it's a regular application where we file an SAT score, we apply with your transcripts. It's the regular application, which is similar to what we file for an engineering program. In order to progress into an MD program, you need to give an MCAT exam. There are some universities which are giving you an integrated or an accelerated MD program, but most of the universities are looking for an MCAT exam if you wish to move to an MD program. There are total 40 universities in US which are accepting international students for MD program. So not every university is accepting international student for MD program. In terms of overall documentation, which is on the right side, which you need a transcript, you need an SAT, ACT, you need your normal essays, recommendations, and once you are in your bachelor's degree, you have to prepare for your MCAT exam. The score is valid for 3 years, and thereafter your MCAT exam and your GPA and your application gets you an admission to an MD program. Now we have St. George's University with us. We have Mr. Varun, who is from St. George's. So I'll just give you a little overview on the St. George's. So St. George's University is the #1 international provider of US residencies for the students who are looking to study MBBS program over there. The regular programs which we are talking about, the MD program in US, it's an 11-year program, whereas St. George's gives you a US medicine degree in the duration of 7 to 8 years. It's one of the university which gives you a direct entry into the US with your clinical rotations and US residency. It's also known as the Harvard of the Caribbean, and it's one of the universities where you can get a US medicine degree without giving the MCAT exam. So we have Mr. Varun with us from St. George's, who will brief you up on the university and the overall structure. Over to you, Varun.
Sure. Thank you, Saurabh. Good evening, everyone. Let me just quickly share my screen and start the presentation. Hope you all can see my screen.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you everyone for joining in for the presentation. Yes, we are talking about the St. George's University. This university has created, a lot of doctors which are currently working not only in US but across the globe. So I'm talking about the good number of doctors working. And yes, this is the university we're going to speak about today. Located in Grenada, which is in West Indies, a very beautiful location. The university itself is a high quality standardized university where all the buildings are made by the Florida Hurricane Standard. And this university is 44-year-old university. First medical institute in the Caribbean island, and famously known as the Harvard of Caribbean. And if you're looking at the surrounding, very well connected with the locals as well, because this university usually provide job to 1/3 of the island population. And in terms of Grenada, Grenada is an island in the West Indies belt. It's a second southernmost island in the West Indies belt. And this, country, it's famously known for its cocoa production, and this country has no army. So in terms of safety and security, this is one of the most safest place on the planet a student can be. And 80% of the students are usually US and Canadian students. Whenever I say international student, that means non-US and non-Canadian student. And talking about the students, we have 17,000 successful physicians which are working across the globe, and out of which 11,000 plus students or the physicians are working in the US workforce right now. I have jotted down this presentation in 8 very important questions a medical aspirant must have. So we'll start with the US residency. So in US medical curriculum, if you understand, usually you start with your preclinical years, which is your BSc. Then you move into your MD, then post MD and post USMLE examination, you go for the residency. So residency is a specialization. It's a paid residence program, minimum 3 years, let's say about, pediatrics and internal medicine, usually 3 years. Surgery used to go for 5+ additional years of specialization, and it can go up to maximum 6.5 to 7 years, neurosurgeon and all those categories. So, and this is the mandatory and must be done by everyone. Even a US citizen has to go through the US residency program in order to become a board certified doctor in US. And talking about that, we have 91% of our international student. Now, I'm not talking about the US and Canadian citizen. No, international student who applied for the US post-graduation position obtain in very first attempt. Means moment you finish your MD with us, you'll be appearing for, or you'll be applying for the residency match in US, and 91% is the success rate for our international student. Now there will be doubt, what about the remaining 9? So as a university, we restructure their study plan. We enhance their profile by adding them into an MBA program or MPH program, which is public health program, and they reappear for the residency next year, and the success goes from 91 to 95%. But in the very first attempt, we have 91% of our international students getting into the US residency program. And so these are the figures, like 961 of our student got successful residency placement in 2019. But this year, the figures are 1105. So every year we are growing into that, and we are very, very optimistic, very confident. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Very optimistic and confident every time when we do this, which makes us the #1 provider of first year of US residency for the last 11-year combined. So that speaks a lot about the university success in terms of placing student into the US healthcare system. And there's no other medical school in this world provided more number of doctors into US healthcare system. With that, I can very proudly say that St. George's University is the second largest source of licensed physician for the current US workforce. Here is the proof. So if we notice, these figures were taken in 2018 by the Federation of State Medical Board, US. You can see first university, which has 11,828 of their students getting into work, getting into the US residency. And we are at the second and third one. And there's no difference between first and second, to be honest.
Varun, sorry, your slides are not moving.
Okay.
In the way. Probably the slideshow is on.
So which slides you can see right now? Which slide is on?
I can still see the main original slide. I was answering the questions of the students.
Okay. Let me just share it again.
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. Let me just quickly show you the slides which we have covered, whether university, number of students, why residency, 91%. Yeah, we were at this slide where I'm trying to give a brief about the number of the university success in terms of placing the student to US residency since the existence. Now, if you look into the first and third rank university, they are more than 100-year-old university, and we are just 44-year young university, and we are in the competition with the top medical university in that term. And we are very confident because these reports were taken in 2018, and we are very confident and hopeful as well. When the new reports comes in, we'll be the #1 university to provide the US residency. Yeah, that's the biggest feeling, or a very proud moment for a university and grad working in the US workforce. And it totally depends upon the career guidance and student development support services we have, where we especially, all the trainings, all the, you can say, support is given to a student to achieve this great success. Additional classes are conducted, and guidance from the day one the student arrive at the university is provided in terms of clearing US residency, how to prepare about it, what are the clinical rotation they can plan out, and that's really support which we provide. And to addition to that support, we'll talk about the clinical network or the clinical rotations, which are very important. So what we call internship in India, same thing is known as clinical rotation, clerkship program in US. And these are mandatory because once you complete your clinical rotations, you get LOR, letter of recommendation. That's the most important, you can say, part of your USMLE.
I'm sorry, but Pankaj, can you see if the slides, is there any stuck up? Are you there, Pankaj?
Yes, I am there. I cannot see the slides moving. It's just stuck on
Yeah,
slide number 2.
yeah. It's again
Okay,
happening.
it's not moving. Let me just. Can you see
Yeah,
it moving
actually,
right now?
yeah.
Yes,
I
it's
mean, you have
moving
to
right
click
now.
on every slide to move it, so it was not moving before.
Okay, because let me just put it. Is it moving now?
So now it is. I mean, you shift to another slide, just
Yeah,
as it.
It's on slide number 13 as of now.
Yeah.
this one.
Please try slide number 14. Click on
Yeah,
slide number 14.
tried showing to me, but okay,
No,
let
it's
me
not
just
working.
play like this. Can you see the slide number
Yes,
14?
now I
Yes.
can
Yes.
see.
Yeah,
Yes.
let me just play it through this way. Okay, maybe some technical error. We are also adapting to new technology, so kindly apologize me for the same.
No worries.
Sure. Now what I do? Yes. So I was talking about the clinical rotations which we have. So these are the very important, in terms of getting LORs and applying for the US residency. And for that, we have more than 70 plus affiliated hospitals in countries like US and UK. And as a student, you can choose any hospital and go for a certain number of weeks, into different hospitals as well as per your requirements or as per your preference. And if you understand, in US, most of our hospitals are teaching hospitals as well. And these hospitals usually come for the residency match as well. So that also opens up a lot of opportunity to getting into residency in US. So these are the very important aspect. And in any MD structurized program with us, let it be 7 years to 4 years, last 2 years is your clinical rotations year. And that's give you a lot exposure into the US medical structure, the standard they follow, different department functionality. Even it will help you to formulate or understand the different specializations. So based on that, you can show your interest into the residency match. Okay, so now we come down to the third question. Does my education at St. George's University prepare me for the USMLE? USMLE, let me just spend some time about that. USMLE is the United States Medical Licensing Examination. These are the mandatory examination and must be written by everyone in order to start your residency in US, and post residency will be board certified or licensed doctor in US, and you can work as a doctor. This exam consists of 3 steps, step 1, 2, and 3. The main focus area is step 1, step 2. These exams you can write while pursuing your MD. And step 3 can be done while you're doing your residency. Step 1 exam prior to this year was scoring examination with out of 300, 192 was the pass marks. But this year it's a pass or fail examination. Step 2 consists of 2 parts, clinical clinical knowledge and clinical skill. Knowledge is based, it's a written examination. I mean, it's MCQ type questions. It's a scoring examination, which are like same out of 300, 192 pass marks. And clinical skill is a practical implementation, which mainly to understand your vocabulary in terms of taking data, feeding the data, and passing on the data. So it's a fake patient you'll be encountering in a day. So these are our examination. When I say these examination, these are not easy examination. The duration itself is 7 hours 45 minutes, 7-hour exam duration. 45 minutes is your break time, which can be divided after every hour. So you need a lot of preparation, a lot of question drill, a lot of understanding the patternized question, in what sense these questions are asked. Not only that, you need that focus to sit for 7 hours and continuously, go through this examination. So as a university, we take separate sessions for USMLE preparation. We have different mentoring program where a senior grad who has cleared the USMLE step 1 will be mentoring a student who is just appearing for the examination and helping them what went right, what went wrong, how they prepared for it, what kind of question usually comes, and how to tackle those situations. And because of that, if you look into our USMLE success rate for the step 1, our student clear it at very first attempt, which is at 96%. And with that, we can very proudly say that we are par with most of the US top med schools, and we are above most of the US or the Canadian med schools as well. And this is the comparison done by the usmle.org/performance data, which clearly shows where we stand. And if you compare to all other foreign or other med schools, international med school, they are at 78%. Now, one more thing we have to notice that, as in US, if you're an international student, you're studying in US, probability of getting into the US med school is less than 1%. And according to stats in 2018, there are around 152 US med school, which took only 282 international students, which is less than 2 students per schools. And we take 30% of approximately 30%, 25 to 20% of our students are usually international students. So that shows is not only the US and Canadian student, but international student also a part of this structure where they clear the examination in very first attempt. And now in this slide, we're going to speak about, the MD structure, what we offer to our student, what are the entry points, and what are the affiliations we have. So kindly pay attention here. So the program you'll see here, these are 7-year. We offer 7-year MD program to 4-year MD program. So there are different eligibility parameters. I'll be explaining that. Blue circles usually indicate your preclinical year, and orange one indicates your MD years. If you as a student, if you joining us for the 4-year program, then you must have a BSc Applied Science degree with minimum 60%. And I'm saying like BSc in botany, zoology, you can say biology, even MBBS grad can join, BDS can join. And related to medicine, if you have done your graduation, you can definitely apply for 4-year MD program, where you have to do 2 years of clinical studies and 2 years of clinical rotations. Now, year 5 and year 6 are very famously, where a lot of students get into the 5 and 6-year program, mainly because you can directly apply post 12th. If you're a student, you have completed your 12th and you have secured 80% and above, 80%, plus we look into the individual scores of physics, chemistry, and bio, then you can apply for 5-year MD program, where you have to do, you'll be joining in the final year of preclinical, and then straight away into the 4-year of MD structure. And if a student is below 80 and is like good above 70, and we go case to case basis for the year 6, they can apply for the 6-year MD program, where the cycle is of 2 years of preclinical and 4 years of MD. 7-year MD program is a very rare opportunity where a student post 10th can apply for the 7-year MD program. And this is, this is, as I said, very rare because students are usually influenced by their family because they're surrounded by doctor, or they are inspired by them. And they are 101% sure they want to become a doctor in future. So they can directly apply for the 7-year program, where they have to do the entire cycle of 3 preclinicals and 4 years of MD. Now, if you look down below, you will be seeing different flags. Though this flag represents Grenada, UK, and India, which also represent the different affiliation which is available for a student. So if I'm a student, I'm joining for 4-year MD program. I can either start with the main campus in Grenada or with the with UK. In UK, we are partnered with Northumbria University in Newcastle. So as a student, I can start with any of these university. Second year is a mandatory year to be at the main campus. Why? Because this is a very pivotal year. We'll be preparing you for the USMLE step 1. And post this, you are going for your clinical rotations in US or UK as per your choice. And side by side, in year third, we'll be preparing you for the step 2 examination. And mostly by the end of third year or in the beginning of fourth year, you'll be writing the step 2. And post completion of an MD, you'll be applying for your residency in US. So that's how we have structured the entire study and the examination, USMLE examination along with that. And if you're a student, you're joining us for 5-year program, then definitely you have a choice. Either you can start with main campus in Grenada, in UK with Northumbria affiliation, or in India with a wonderful affiliation with the MS Ramaiah Institute in Bangalore, where you can do 1 year in India. Then later on, you can decide where to continue your medical study with us, either in UK or Grenada. Then you have to be back in Grenada. It's completely a student call. So, as a student, you have a complete authority over it. And, it's completely your choice. Even in the clinical rotation with those 70 plus affiliate hospitals, you can choose like which hospital to start, which hospital to go with, and how to structure as a clinical rotations. And if you look into the 6-year program, you can either start with the UK affiliation or the main campus affiliation. Then you can continue your medical studies accordingly. The advantage is that if you're joining us for the 5-year program and you start with Indian affiliation, first thing you'll get a diploma from MS Ramaiah Institute. Then and along with that, post completion of third year of your this thing, and which is MD second year. And if you have done your affiliation in UK as well, then you'll be getting the bachelor's in medical science from Northumbria University in honors. And once you complete your MD, you'll be getting the MD degree from St. George's University. So now if I plan my studies properly, in 5 years, I can get 3 degrees. So that's the biggest advantage a student can get in these affiliation programs. And we'll be speaking more about the affiliation. In terms of location, these are the strategic locations where our students are. As I said earlier, this is the MS Ramaiah affiliation, Northumbria University and main campus of Grenada, very well connected with the US, 1.5 hours flight from Miami, 4.5 hours of duration, which is flight directly from New York, very well connected. The biggest advantage is that a student can choose any of this platform and can plan their study accordingly. So that's the advantage we have. And let's more talk about the affiliation with Northumbria. This is a very wonderful affiliation which will give you exposure into different medical practices, practice or different medical, or you can cultural wise or understanding of different functionality. And as a student, I have an option as a Northumbria University. But one commitment is there from the university. Let it be Northumbria University or let it be MS Ramaiah. The curriculum wise, it will be the same. The standard, the quality of faculty will be the same. And let it be examination, structurization, follow-up or submission of any project assignment, everything will be followed same in all the affiliations, because your ultimate outcome is same in the end, that you'll become a wonderful or you can successful practitioner. So that's the ultimate goal of a student. These affiliations help them in understanding or broaden their understanding of different cultural, cross-cultural medical practices, and plus clinical rotations in UK as well, which will open up your doors towards the UK residency programs as well. So in UK, usually the PLAB 1 and PLAB 2 are the examination, but post 2022, it will be UKMLE examinations. So, as a university, we are equipped with training a student or, preparing them for the UK residency programs as well. So as it's completely a student call, where they want to practice their medicine, and we are ready to help with that. Now, yes. The fourth question, how will I be supported to succeed in my medical education? So now we are talking about the support, which is very unified with St. George's University. Let it be in terms of the quality of education. Yes, so 75% of our classes are conducted in small cluster group. For that, within the university, we have 9 different, you can say, medical colleges. Each college has different faculty, different dean, different principal. And once you join St. George's in main campus, you're allocated to one of those 9 medical college, and you do all your classes over there. So now this division is done because, to make sure the student get a small group of learning, which is 1:8, one faculty for 8 students, which is just 75% of the classes, and 25% of the classes usually conducted in the lecture halls. So that's a quality oriented, approach towards the student education, which we offer as a university. And in terms of the academic program, it's a state of the art facility which we provide in terms of lab practice, in terms of arranging any services to the student, and preparing for the USMLE examination, residency, matching process, and beyond that, kind of maintaining the alumni network as well. So that's a commitment which we have towards our student. As I said earlier, about the small cluster group. Not only that, we take care of our student in terms of their wellness and support. We have a lot of programs which are conducted because we have students with the nationality over 100 countries. So we respect all the culture, all the festivals, everything are celebrated in the premises. And with that, we also take a commitment to develop a student professionally and personally. And to that, we have a strength of 2,000 faculties working with us. And these faculties are the backbone of the university. As we can clearly see, there are 1,500 faculties which are clinical faculties, and there are 200 plus visiting faculty. So these faculties are very, very unique proposition or added advantage to a student, which will give different dimension in terms of understanding the curriculum, proceeding the curriculum. And there are lectures on, let it be like, preparation of USMLE examinations, how to do that. So these are very helpful. And these faculty usually come from the top medical, you can say, hospitals or specialty. They hold numbers of experience. And this is really helpful for a student. And talking about more about the faculties, all the professors or faculties are MD holders, PhD holders, or like, we have a lot of faculties from India as well. We have Dr. Keshav. I met him last year in October. We were there at MS Ramaiah for a summer camp, mini-med program too, sorry. And he's MBBS, so he's done his MBBS in India. Specialization in Switzerland, then Italy. So he is a neurosurgeon, practicing neurosurgeon. More than 10 years and above is with St. George's University, great ambassador of Indian society in the Caribbean island, and very famously known along with the student. And that's the commitment he holds, and that's a commitment towards the student he gives. And not only that, we have Dr. Rao, and there are so many faculties from different part of the world. And in terms of clearing doubts, there is no even a student, they can off the class hours, they can schedule a meeting with faculties in terms of clearing doubt. The faculties are that much open with the student. And talking about the student support service, and our Department of Education support service is really, really top notch, in terms of developing student skills. Because one thing we have to understand, doctor is a chosen leader in society, and and it's a role model for many upcoming generation. So not only in terms of understanding medicine, implementation of medicine, they have to be well versed with all these skills as well. We have time management skills, study skills. So study skills are very important because you have to retain a lot. Medicine is not an easy course. It's a very vigorous course. A lot of content need to be followed and must be done by a student. So study skills need to be developed where you can expand your knowledge or grasping powers. Test taking abilities, note taking, how to create a short notes which will make you long retention power. Then we have, as I said earlier, we divide into different study group, and a lot of discussion happens over there, and will enhance the student learning skill. Not only that, we have special training programs for our students to come over the anxiety as well, because there's the high possibility then when you're running out the timeline and you realize you have to study a lot and you go into this anxiety attack, you can say, where you don't know what to do and you are like stuck. So that's why these kind of classes are really there for our student to help them come over all these barriers. And for the international student, we have English language programs as well. All the classes are recorded, so they can review those classes, and we can play it again and understand the subject or the topic again. And one of the best thing we have is mentoring by other med school. So now if you are a new grad, you're joining the St. George's, so a senior grad will be mentoring you, because we understand when a new student comes into the university, they are very young, 17, 18 age, and they're very high possibility they'll be missing their home, culture, people. And to cover up that, we have, we'll be assigning a mentor, similar locality or from the nationality, and they'll be mentoring you for a term or two until you get more comfortable with the culture, with the society. And once you are comfortable, then you'll be as a student mentoring a upcoming grad. So this is the culture which we follow in our university, which will really help our student to come over all these emotional barriers. So there was a video which I have to skip. Yes, now this is the most important question for any medical student or grad to understand: where will my St. George's, St. George's University medical degree allow me to practice the medicine? Because these are not courses like your management or engineering, where you can work in one of the university, study in one of the university, and you can work in any part of the world. And with very proudly, I can easily say that SGU grads has practiced in all, we can practice, as student can practice in all the 50 states in US, throughout Canada, and in more than 50 plus countries across the globe. So that's where you all can practice. And how can I say that? With all accreditation, recognition, and affiliation. So these are very important for any medical university. Now, the first one, which is very important, is a CAM-HP affiliation. So CAM-HP's affiliation is mainly for the Caribbean med schools or university. Post 2023, if a university doesn't have CAM-HP affiliation in Caribbean, which means that university is not, that degree or whatever the diploma or whatever the certificate provided from that university is not recognized globally. So this affiliation is very important. And with this affiliation, you come par with the LCME, which is the Liaison Committee affiliation in US, which directly comes under the American Medical Association. So through that, our student can work in all the 50 states in US. Along with that, through this, we are also, reviewed and approved by World Federation of Medical Education. And the news is that post 2023, this will be the most important affiliation for any international med school, because without this affiliation, you will not be allowed to work in any part of the world. So this is the most important affiliation a university must have. Along with that, we are also recognized by General Medical Council UK, General Medical Council Canada, even the Royal College of Practitioner and Surgery from Canada. And along with that, we are also recognized by World Health Organization and MCI India as well. We are recognized and listed in the International University listing. You can see St. George's University at number 406. It's listed over there. And this is very important or very unique affiliation we have with US Department of Education. This trust has built, with last 40 years of successfully providing number of doctors into US workforce. So as a US citizen, one can take a federal loan to study with us. This is very important. The two parameters are: one, you must be a US citizen, and second, the university or you can say school or whatever the education institute must be or should be in the US premises. But only 3 universities are allowed which are outside the US boundaries, where a US citizen can take federal loan, and we are one of those universities. So that's a trust given by the US government of education as well. So these are the different recognition. Along with that, we are also recognized by more than 43 countries across the globe. That's all, those countries, their own medical board. Like in India, we have MCI. We are recognized by them as well. So that's why in the beginning I said you can work in like entire 50 states, entire Canada, and 50 plus countries across the globe. And these are the recognitions or accreditation we have to justify that. And these are very important for any medical school. If you are aspiring yourself to study any part of the world, especially your medicine, so you have to look into two things which are very important. One, the what are the university holds in terms of recognition, accreditation, and second, where you're going to practice your medicine. So these two questions are very important that time. Now we have spoke about the success, residency, USMLE. Now let's talk about the life, because although you have to study a lot, but there are some part you have to also work with your free time, what you will be doing, how you'll be doing, and what university brings special in that. In terms of accommodation and amenities, the campus is world-class campus. You can see this is our library, where like a student can easily go and like get any knowledge they want, and newly renovated gym. So these pictures are of main campus in Grenada. This is a newly renovated gym which can hold 100 and 150 plus two students at a single go. And definitely, in terms of knowledge, you're gaining a lot of things, but health-wise, it's also important to stay fit and healthy. Food. Many parents, they ask me this question. What about food? What about Jain food? What about this kind of food and all? Because India, we have different varieties of people. To be very honest, people come from different background, different thing. They have their own preference, vegetarian, non-vegetarian. So in that term, we have in our school, in med school cafeteria, we serve world cuisine. So it's a weekly rotational wise. There's an Indian family which very specifically serve Indian food to Indian student. So that is also one more thing. And right outside the university premises, there are two Indian restaurants, one Punjabi restaurant, and if students like to go out and eat, they can do that as well. So there's no shortage of food in the island. And and if you look into the locality as well, the local food is also kind of spicy food, which is liked by most of the Indian students as well. So there won't be any problem in terms of food. And in terms of accommodation, we have a wonderful accommodation facility. Student can choose from single sharing studio apartment to, it can go up to 3 to 4 sharing room dome facility. That's the term they use. And it's completely student call. And it's mandatory for a student, once they join, at least for a year, they have to stay in the dome facility. And once they complete first year, then they can like move out of the premises as well. We have 24, not 24/7, but free complimentary bus service, which goes around 5-kilometer radius, usually starts 5 a.m. in the morning and close by around 1 o'clock in the night. Student can use this anytime, this complimentary for a student. And definitely in a leisure time, you can study and looking into beautiful sea. And what happens once you land into Grenada, or the first thing you get is a scuba diving license. So apart from your studies, you can also enjoy your life at the beautiful exotic beach. Apart from that, we have different student clubs and different organizations which are formed within the university. We celebrate all the festival. You can see the pics. There's a Holi and some, I think it's a Chinese or Vietnamese festival they are celebrating. A lot of community services also provided to a student. And this is the faculty show, which you can see here. This is Professor Rao, or Dr. Rao from the university. Very famously known, very happy personality in the university. And he knows every student by his name. So if you meet him after 10 years also, he'll be calling you by your name. So that strong memory he holds, and people love him. And yeah, so this is the different engagement we have with the you can say cultural or the locality, and we celebrate everything. It's not just studies. We focus on a lot of things. As I said earlier, it's very important for us to develop you as a professionally and personally, or so these are things are very important. And we have a lot of sports and recreational activities as well. These are important because if your or if your mind and body and soul are fit, then no, you can achieve whatever possible outcome you're looking at. So we have different marathon, uh, gym, definitely, as I spoke earlier. We have different art culture, yoga classes, or swimming competitions. So this is the part of our sports and recreation opportunity which is provided to a student. Seeing is believing. That's what we believe, and we have this wonderful opportunity where, as a student, you say, okay, let's see the university. Go there and see the university. So we have a wonderful opportunity for our student. The program is called CSGU program, where you can come to the university. You can sit in the classroom. You can look into the dorm facilities. You can stay there for a day or two. And once you join St. George's University, we will reimburse the matriculated student for the cost of the visit. So that's the commitment we have towards a student, and many students, like you can clearly see like 500 current first year students visited the campus, and they are the St. George's University student. So this is an opportunity that you can also look into, where you can see and feel about the university and join the university. In terms of financial aid, yes, we do have a wonderful scholarship opportunity. So now scholarship is mainly for the international student, and scholarship is totally based on the merit basis and student need basis. So these are the parameter. So once a student has achieved those parameter, university awards scholarship. And as I said, it's totally based on the merit basis or the student need basis. And it's only available for the international student, which is approximately 20 to 22% of our student. How do I apply? So you'll be seeing one of the most simplest and straightforward application process of any university. I'm not asking about any scores like your MCAT, UKCAT, SAT, NEET scores. I'm not asking about that. Very simple. You have to submit the application along with financial form and scholarship form. These are the important forms we have. Then you have to submit your transcript, your 12th or graduation transcript, 2 letter of recommendation from your science teacher, along with passport and photocopy. Once all the documents are submitted, then there's an interview conducted by the University Admission Council doctor. So it's an online interview, 30 to 40 minutes duration, mainly to understand you as a person, your passion, your desires towards the medicine. And once the interview is done, then university give the outcome related to that, either acceptance or provisionary acceptance basis. And then student must know, then they can proceed. And along with this, there's a requirement for English language tests, which is IELTS or TOEFL examination. And if students are very aspirant towards the UK affiliation, it is mandatory to write IELTS UK VI examination in that case, because more than a requirement, it becomes a visa requirement process as well, requirement as well. Along with that, we take TOEFL, PTE, Duolingo scores as well. IELTS minimum band requirement is 7 and above. Medicine, we can't go down. If student comes with the 6.5 or something like that, then we have English enhancing program within the university, and they'll be enrolled along with that to improve their either like written form of English or vocabulary form of English. As we discussed earlier, we have MAC and ELP program for that. For TOEFL, 100 for internet based, 250 for computer based, and 650 for the paper based. So these are the requirement we have for the English language test. Okay, so the final question is, why is St. George's University the place to start my medical career? Now, after getting into all the presentation and all the details, now we come down to the main understanding what we understood about the university. As a university, we have an outstanding residency placement rate. So now, as I said, residency, we are talking about 11,000 plus students, 11,000 doctors working in the US workforce right now. And this year itself, we have 1,105 of our students getting into the US residency in very first attempt. So this is the biggest achievement a university can say. And it happens with me, many parents, many students, they ask what is the ranking of university. So my counter question is that in what parameter you're looking into the ranking. Ranking can be done based on the Nobel Prize won by university, based on the student joining the university, or thesis, or or you can say partnership submitted by the university. On what parameter you're looking into that? So this is the question of ranking. If you want to judge us through success, this is the success where we place our students successfully into the US workforce. And for international students, the success rate is 91% in first attempt. And this is lot goes down to our clinical rotation program, where you can do it in US and UK. And trust me, these if you are applying for any residence, or you can say a clinical rotation in US, these programs are very hard to get, and they are very expensive, and you are getting 2 years to do that. And you can choose from 70 hospital, like 25 weeks in this hospital, it's 26 weeks in other hospital. It's completely your choice how you can plan it out. Okay, and this is the luxury which a medical aspirant is getting from St. George's University, to be very honest. And small classes experience with the benefit large schools. Yeah, as I said earlier, 9 colleges we have, and we give lectures usually in small cluster group of 1:8, one faculty for 8 students. And in terms of curriculum wise or academic wise, we completely work on the US medical style of education, and which has led us to wonderful USMLE success rate, as I said, 96% in very first attempt. In terms of facility, accommodation, student lives opportunity, it is unparalleled. You cannot compare with any other university. It's a completely student-centric university. And I was speaking earlier about the student working in US. So these are the top 20 hospitals, in US, where our students are working as a doctor, specialty doctor. And to be very honest, we have a widespread, you can say, alumni network, not only in US, but across the globe. And top hospitals you can say is like John Hopkins Hospital, Mayo Clinic. These are the top hospitals a student can dream of working there, and our students are working right there. And as I spoke about the alumni network, which is worldwide, more than 17,000 students of St. George's or aspirants working across the globe. With that, I can very proudly say this is an outstanding education experience that will get you to your goal of becoming a practicing physician, not only in US, but in any part of the world. And our main agenda, our main motive is not to make a doctor, to make a great doctor. And that's we very strictly follow. And in terms of team, we have this wonderful team which working across India, led by Mr. Bharat Gadi and Salil, who take care of different affiliations across South Asia, then followed by regional managers like Charat, who take care of South region, Priyanka for the West, and I take care of the North and Eastern part of India. You can if you want, you can click down the photos, or you can scan the QR code, you'll get our details. And if you're from any of the respected region, you can ask any questions, any query. Yes, Saurav, any help?
Varun, some of them are asking for PPTs of your. I hope we are okay in sharing that. Is that okay?
PPT, sure. Let me remove all the videos, and I'll be sharing with the.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we have Shruti.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Shruti, you have.
Yeah. We'll open the forum for question answer session quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, Shruti, you have a question.
Good evening. Good evening. What is the fee structure
of St. George's?
Yeah.
Okay. Varun, over to you.
Yeah. Hi, Shruti. Thank you for being part of the presentation. So now you have understood about the university, what we offer, and where we stand right now. And our competition lies mainly with the top US med schools. In terms of fees and all, we are the premium medical institute. And if you look into the program structure, let me talk about 5-year program. So the tuition fee for the 5-year program is 346,000 approximately for 5-year structure. For 6 year, you can add additional 36,000 1 year of preclinical fees. So that is for the 5 and 6 year program fees we have of the tuition fee. And the fees which I quoted is without the scholarship. The scholarship is equally divided into the each term. So fees is paid term basis. So what we call semesters in India, same thing is known as term in US. So it's usually of
I'm
6.
sorry, I'm not able to hear you.
Saurav, can you hear me?
I'm able to hear you. Like Pankaj, are you there? I don't
Yes,
know.
I can hear you as well.
She's
I
getting
think
muted again. Okay.
yeah,
Shruti,
Shruti,
are you able to?
I think some connectivity issue maybe, she can't hear us
Yeah.
properly.
Shruti, there's a connectivity issue on your side because we are able to hear each other very clearly.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, so I'll do one thing in chat. I'll share the fee structure with her. So
sure,
entire breakdown of the fees is given.
sure.
That I'll do it.
So we have another student, Sanskar. Pankaj, जी unmute नहीं हो रहा. Yeah, Sanskar. Sanskar, are you there?
If you guys know facing some trouble in terms of speaking, you can ask your question in chat, I believe, right? Right, Saurav? They can do
Yeah,
that, right?
they can. Yeah, yeah.
So then we'll read the question and we'll address the answers. Yeah, Sanskar. Is my okay, what is so I think Sanskar, no, and sort of the Sanskar question is for you. If you
Yeah, I
can,
got it.
yeah.
Yeah, got it. Anybody has any other question? You can raise your hand and we can unmute you.
Okay, so I think Anushka, she's having one question. As we all know, if we do MD in India, it is not considered in US. So if we do MD in Europe or Australia, will do our MD be considered? Please tell.
I actually answered that question. It came
Okay,
again.
okay.
I don't know. I just
Maybe
checked the queue.
she's asking in terms of St. George's. Maybe I'm not sure. But
Yeah, please, you can answer.
yeah. So, but one thing is very certain: U.S. medical structure, they don't appreciate any other thing. Very straightforward. You have to do USMLE, you have to do residency, then you can work as a doctor in US. There is no route B, route C, nothing like that. Only USMLE is the main route. You might have done like, let's say MD, PhD, whatever, until you are into the research domain. But if you want to become a doctor and specialty doctor, USMLE is the only route. So that's why, and as a young aspirant, it's very important for you to understand, if I study in the US style of education, the probability of cracking the US assembly is very high for me. And I give you a small stat, approximately every Indian, you can say every MBBS student, they attempt US assembly once in their lifetime. So that's a dream every doctor, you can say in India they have. And the success rate from MBBS cracking the US assembly is less than 3%. The main difference is the curriculum. We follow the what you say MBBS, which is Commonwealth style of curriculum, but the requirement is US style of structure or curriculum. So that's a big vast difference. If you are a student, you are aspiring to become doctor in US, you want to be there, you have to go to med school which provide the US style of curriculum, not the Commonwealth. Then there will be a big gap and you can spend years and years of training of USMLE exams and cracking those examinations take long time. So that will be the challenge everyone will be facing.
Anybody has any other questions? You can raise your hand and I can unmute you.
Shruti is raising her hand, I think.
Yeah, I unmuted her.
Yeah. What are the steps to be followed for the scholarship test?
Shruti, so we don't have any scholarship test. It's totally based on your 12th, or if you're applying for 5 or 6, or graduation grades, totally grade basis. You know, if I'm a student with 90 percentage, definitely I can expect good scholarship. So that's why our parameters are very high. You know, minimum is 80 for 5 years and like 70 and all for the 6-year program. Merit basis and student need basis. And in this situation, like in COVID situation, we do understand, you know, there's a financial crunch in terms of running business, or let it be in a job or anything like that. There are a lot of financial crunches people are facing. We completely understand that. And keeping that in mind, we have definitely, no, we are very generous towards our scholarship in that sense. So definitely once a student put down the application and all the required documents, they can, and once the decision comes, within a day or two, university offer them the bursary, which is their scholarship. And by default it comes. So, you know, if you, and as a student, in scholarship form also you can mention what sort of help you needed from the university in your essay. So that we are open to that much of understanding a student as well.
Anybody has any other question? You can raise your hand. Yeah.
This is A.K. Gupta. Actually, my question is how much we have to budget in terms of budget plan, in terms of budget for 5-year program in Indian currency.
You're referring for which country? In St. George's or some other country?
Sorry, this St. George.
Okay.
No, for
Well,
St. George.
okay.
Okay, sure. So now, no, the tuition fee, if I quickly convert it into INR, you know, it will be somewhere around 2.4 to 2.5 crore, that INR, this total tuition fee. And this is without the scholarship. Yes. And to be very honest, if you know, if you want to apply for any Indian medical university or college, this is the amount you must keep. You know, if you're not going through the NEET good ranking, I mean to say top 650 ranking, then this is the
For
amount.
private colleges, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And this we
Thank
like
you.
as you have clearly seen the success and everything. So in that time, the price is totally justifiable.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Yeah.
So Varun, we have a question here. Can I opt to attend, this is from Sanskar, can I opt to attend the entire term online in SU and not travel to Grenada or the UK? Probably the first term we are referring to.
Okay, so let me explain you. In August, we are starting the main campus, the Grenada batch, which is online batch. Okay, and 21st of September, we are starting our Northumbria affiliation and Indian affiliation, which is on campus. So Sanskar, if you planning to study online, you know, we have that option as well. You know, and definitely we'll going along for one term. But if you are comfortable to travel to Bangalore and study with the MS Ramaiah affiliation, you can do that as well. Without the main agenda is student, they should not waste a year. I speak to a lot of students, they say ki there's no plan like that, we are ready to wait, but they don't understand. And we cannot delay the proceeding because the usual USMLE exams are in month of September. If we delay our admission further, then we'll miss the 1 year cycle of writing those examinations, which are very, very important to understand. So that's why you have option to choose from. You can, like in August, you can start with the online classes through which is for the main campus, and batches in India and UK we are starting on 21st September. So this is the opportunity you have.
So there's this another student, Adya. So the student is in grade 12 right now, and she's saying that, may I know till when can I register to SGU?
So Adya, I hope you have started your grade 12th, I believe. Okay, so if you have started your grade 12, then this year mostly by October time you can start your application process, because that will automatically come under the early applicant round, which will lead to the good scholarship opportunity. But if you are completing your 12th, then definitely you should start as soon as possible. Know all your application and other process, and all our admission process usually take 15 days. So we are very quick in giving the outcome, to be very honest. Yeah, so we have to start it as soon as possible. We understand that most of your exams are pending or the results yet to be out. We understand that. We can wait for that a while. But if you have put down the application, that will enroll you towards the application round, second round, which is second round, and the good scholarship opportunity as well.
Adya, if you have any question, you have to unmute yourself and then you can ask the question in case you wish to do so. Sanskar, same goes for you. You will have to unmute yourself if you want to ask the question. You are on mute right now. So Sanskar has a question. How will we submit NEET scores for applying into the MD program, because the dates are now being postponed to probably September or October?
Yeah, so Sanskar, we don't need scores, to be honest, because our curriculum is totally US structurized, US based platform. We don't need NEET. That's why I said, no, I don't need any NEET exams, SAT exams, MCAT or UKCAT examination. Just you have to perform in your 12th. That is important for us. And that interview with admission council doctor. So these are the two major eligibility parameter to get in admit with us. So if you're writing NEET, that's good. I personally suggest all the students to write NEET examination, because that really gives you, heads up and understanding about the, what kind of question may come and what kind of understanding I have about those questions or things like that. And to give you the feeling of competitiveness. Now, if you are focusing on NEET, definitely, due to further delays, but we are not delaying our admission process. So that's one scenario you have to look into. And I'm in touch with a lot of students. There's one student, that student completed 12th in, I think, 2017. And since then, every year that student is keep on appearing for NEET exams to improve the results and scores, but it's not happening. If it doesn't happen in first attempt, chances are the probability is very low it will happen in second or third. One thing you have to understand, and that's fair enough. Last year 14 lakh students wrote the examination, where only 65,000 seats are required in Indian not top, but all the medical university and college. So there's a big challenge you have to understand, and you should be appreciative that you are attempting it or writing it. But with us, your 12th scores matters a lot, and you can directly get in admit based on that.
Varun, there is a reason why he's asking this question. So he's saying that if MCI doesn't allow you to practice in India if you don't give NEET, so that's the reason why he was asking that.
So let me just explain you what are the different parameters by MCI, because MCI, there are like different programs. They there's an exit exam and entry exam. So exit is like if you're planning your MD or MBBS abroad, you have to write the exit examination. So usually these examinations are structured or brought into the picture because of many students are going into Russia, China, Ukraine, and countries, and they're straight away coming back from these countries. And what happens there, the MCI faces a lot of challenge to provide the job to these students. So that's why they implemented the FMCG licensing examination, where you write the license, train for, do internship for 1 year, then 2 years of post NEET PG, post-graduation exam, you can start your specialization. Now, the countries and traditional country which I'm talking about: US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. These are the 5 traditional country. If I do my MD and become a doctor there, like through residency, and after that, if I'm coming back to India, then I don't have to write any examination. I can straight away practice as a doctor. Okay, so that's an agenda. And definitely, as you're saying, the rule by MCI for exit NEET examination, we are the international university which are listed under the MCI. And in their amendment, it's clearly mentioned if student is choosing any of these university, then it's not mandatory for a student to write those examinations. You can say NEET examination. But as I said earlier, I personally suggest all the students who are appearing for NEET usually give an attempt. But this year's situation is totally different. It's getting delayed month by month. We can't wait for that long because we'll miss the cycle of USMLE and it will prolong for another year. So that is very important thing we have to understand in terms of getting into US medicine.
Okay, thank you, Varun. Anybody with any other questions related to medicine program in STU or any other country? All right. So you can see the phone number and the email ID on the screen. If you still have any questions, you can reach out to us on the number. You can drop an email. You can also share the PPT with you of STU in case you wish to reach out to Varun. You can reach out to him as well for any questions related to STU. And we'll be happy to solve your queries. Also, with relation to any other country that we have discussed, we are willing to share we are willing to respond to your queries based on whatever individual queries that you have. So Sanskar has another question. Are the procedures same for veterinary programs?
Yeah, so in terms of vet program, we take only 300 students for vet program across the globe. And a student must put application as soon as possible. I'm not sure about this year whether it's possible or not. But you have just go to our website, which is sgu.edu, put down the application and you'll see the outcome. University gives a direct update. But remember, only 300 students are taken per year for that. So you have to be in top notch, to be honest, to get into med, because you are licensed to work in 5 countries once you complete your St. George's University vet program.
So I think we are done with the questions. Okay. Yeah. Nobody has raised their hand. So thank you everyone for being present on this session, and we hope to connect with each one of you separately. If you have any questions, we would be more than happy to we'll be more than happy to connect with you separately. You can reach out to us on the number or the email ID mentioned on the screen. Thank you once again. Thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining the presentation. Thank you, Saurav.
Thank you Varun for your time. Thank you Pankaj ji.